We all, well, most of us anyway, have heard the story of Lady Godiva, a woman who rode a horse naked through the streets of, well, somewhere, maybe in France or England or Italy. But there's actually more to the story than that, a lot more. Hi, I'm Tamworth Grice. Welcome to my channel, the Tamworth Grice Files, a place where you'll find stories that are macabre, fascinating, supernatural, and just plain weird. And in each instance, I have a personal connection to the story, so be sure to stick around to hear about that. Also, please subscribe. So, who was Lady Godiva? Was she a real person or just a made-up story? And if real, what did she actually do? Lady Godiva, whose real name was Lady Godiva, meaning gift of God, was a real Anglo-Saxon noblewoman, the wife of the Earl of Mercia. Mercia was an English kingdom in what is now known as the Midlands of England. Godiva's existence as an actual person is well documented. For example, her name appears in charters and in the Domesday Survey, which was a kind of census. In addition, she was a pious lady and patron of numerous churches and monasteries in her area. Most chronicles describe her as respectable, religious, and beautiful, with a sterling reputation for modesty, humility, and compassion. According to the story, her husband had levied a burdensome tax on the people of Coventry, a major economic center in Mercia. Godiva begged her husband repeatedly to relieve the people of their tax burden, but he stubbornly refused. Finally, when she began begging again, the exasperated Earl exclaimed, "I'll cancel the taxes when you ride naked through the streets of Coventry." Thinking she was deterred, the Earl went about his business, but Lady Godiva decided to hold him to his word. A proclamation was issued that on a certain day and time when she intended to do the ride, all the people of Coventry had to stay indoors with their windows and doors tightly shut. On that day, she rode through town on a great white horse with her long hair streaming down over her breasts. Her husband kept his promise and relieved the people of the tax burden. But according to the tale, one man, a tailor named Tom, dared to look out his window at her, and he was forever after known as Peeping Tom. Some say he was divinely blinded or lost his hands as a punishment from God. So, is the story true? Well, sort of and maybe. Some modern scholars doubt its existence. Others say she wasn't entirely naked, but was wearing what was in those days considered underwear, a thin sleeveless or short-sleeved linen shift worn under one's clothing, similar to a woman's slip. This would have been the medieval equivalent of near nakedness, or rather like going grocery shopping in a string bikini. Other scholars believe the story was invented centuries later in an era when Protestant Puritans ruled England. Because Godiva and her husband had endowed numerous Catholic churches and religious houses, the story may have been invented to discredit the pious Catholic couple, as well as the institutions they supported, some of which were destroyed. Regardless of her attire or lack thereof, the story continues to fascinate modern audiences and forms part of the identity of the modern city of Coventry. Today, Coventry celebrates a Godiva festival and procession featuring a Lady Godiva figure, school children, and community members. It includes a 2-minute silence and flower laying, at the Priory Gardens, intended to focus on the theme of compassion and the protest against high taxes that underscored the Ladies' Ride. Now, for my part, the story of Lady Godiva has always fascinated me, not because of the nakedness, but because I've always admired rebellious women, those who went against convention, disobeyed the rules, and broke with the appropriate expectations of behavior for girls and women. So you can imagine my surprise when, as I traced my family history, I discovered that I'm actually descended from Lady Godiva. Yes, the records show that Godiva, Countess of Mercia and wife of the Earl in the 11th century, is actually my 28th great-grandmother. I guess that explains why I love Godiva chocolate so much. I must say that I am disinclined to run around in the nude, much less ride a horse in my underwear. So, what do you think? Do you believe the story of Lady Godiva? Do you think she really rode naked? Or do you believe she was wearing her underwear? Do you think her ride was justified to get her husband to keep his promise to rescind the harsh taxes? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please subscribe because I really need subscribers. This is Tamworth Grice signing off. Until next time, stay wonderful, stay weird, and have beautiful dreams.